Good morning, church.
Good morning, sir.
Greetings to you all in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Jesus Christ, Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Same to you.
So it's time for Bible studies. It's time for Bible study. Bible addition, Emre Aso. Let's refresh our minds a little bit last week. Last week, what did we study? Last week. And then last week. What did we study last week? It was about what?
The miraculous.
Prayers.
Prayers, the miraculous.
Yesuya bibi efa mpaibo church meeting together to what?
Pray.
To pray. Acts chapter 4. And last week, we said, when the church meets together, someone is to lead us in a what?
In prayers.
In prayers. And then we talk about the whole church. What about the whole church praying together, each one praying at the same time? Yes, and then. Yes, and your Bible question. We said each one praying at the same time, the whole church. This one is saying something, brother A is saying something, brother B is saying something, sister A is saying something. We say it's not biblical. We don't have that in the what? In the Bible. Thank you. We cited first Acts chapter 4. There was a group what? Prayer. And then in the prayer, someone was leading them because the person who prayed, the prayer of that person was what? Recorded in the what? In the Bible. Yes, say, no. Some Bible nipa ne boy no. Ne Bible ne eden ya troy. Internet just on one na no odi omo anim e wo de Bible. You can say and there you will Acts chapter 4. Barnabas, a cotton assassin, or the Bemade Asafuno. And he will Acts chapter 4, you see, you had him, Bako any group prayer, no, and another one no, is free will what? Giving. So today is about free will what? Giving. Asafuno. Yama is saying, Jenny, person yɛde ade ɛma asafo no a ɛkwan bɛ so ɛna yɛsɛ yɛde saa ade na yɛde ɛma asafo no ɛyɛ sika ɛyɛ bibi wopɛ sɛ wokɔtɔn wo car na wode brɛ asafo no a sika na wode ba. How do we do it? So free will giving today. So we are in Acts chapter 4. Enti moma yɛntɛne yɛ Bible no ɛkɔ Acts chapter 4. So at this point in the church history, a lot of people have come to Jerusalem, and some have left their home country. They are still in Jerusalem. They need to eat, they need to drink. So the brethren have to do something, and that comes free will giving. Well, in the New Testament, our giving is a free will what? Giving. You are commanded to give. Each Christian is commanded to what? To give. But the giving is not what? Obligated. That if even you don't have, you have to do something. We don't have anything like tithe in the New Testament. At an appropriate time, we will talk more about that. Yeah, Patra said, into so do no. A powerful from the Moeden, and him, and Reb Palmo Yabeka, and whole story Nina. And well, New Testament, no. Opesel, Oma Safono, Bibia, Oma Efide, Wakumano. But at the same time, the Nanya Kopon so too for say, a man or woman, say a proportion. The Yankopon the Aeden, Ashra no. When they are no, because now Paul so interested say, the Otina Kuma we are there, Emano. I know say the Obedia don't know when you are there. Bofu. Ain't in New Testament, and it I never had the ever be Suano. Into what Acts chapter 4. Acts chapter 4. You have a kind of verse 32. Why your Bible not ready no? You Acts 4 verse 32. We need someone to read for us. Acts chapter 4 verse 32.
Acts chapter 4 verse 32. Now the multitude of those who believed were of one heart and one soul. Neither did anyone say that any of things he possessed is his own, but they had all things in common.
Okay. So this is the beginning of the church, you know. Now at the end we are there. And we are there. And we are do papa. The giving of the early church charity work was very, very wide, strong among the brethren. Now the enemy just say, when you are in the community of the Christians now, a common there and do that. And the idea will be free, and idea will be shared there, and power also that. Into you say, oh, when you know, I want the album. Sanders affirmation as you giving. Many are kind call.
And with great power, the apostles gave witness to the resurrection of the Lord Jesus.
Okay, apostles and
was upon them all. 35. Nor was there anyone among them who lacked. For all who were possessors of land and houses sold them and brought the proceeds of the things that were sold.
Okay. And I say, Obia knew what be here no. Bimo wa no mo kita asase, o mo kita dan anyway, o mo koton ni nyina dan. The boy into to whom ahwade, you can see the power. The charity work the church was doing when the church started. Continue.
And lay them at the apostles' feet.
So when you go and buy your things and you sell your things, you bring them. That time the apostles were there, and they are the leaders of the world, of the church. The apostles were the exclusive leaders of the church. So when the bar will say, Apostle Peter, me go to my sons, no. Now 100,000. Yeah, the babua and Jimano. Inti krofu pi ayesa. Only akoso.
And they distributed to each as anyone had need.
Okay. So they distributed to each as anyone has what? Need. So the thing that they went and sold, the money they got, the things they got, no. Each and everyone has something you need. So maybe you don't need a house to sleep what? In. But you need some money to buy what? So yours is what? Money. Maybe you have money to buy food, but you need a place to what? So yours is that. Maybe you don't need anything, but your children need something to what? to eat. So they distributed according to the needs of each one person. It did not suffer there. You were said, Obia was suffering. Omo ni eden. I was saying the panel so. Omo ni ba kokura po anye den. And feel. So everyone is important in the church. Continue.
And Joseph, who was also named Barnabas by the apostles, which is translated son of encouragement, a Levite of the country of Cyprus, having learned, sold it, and brought the money and laid it at the apostles' feet.
Okay. So they recorded that of Barnabas. Barnabas then a tray. Ebua na sas na oton no. Ebua na sika na yeden. Na sika na yeden. Asopa nti ya tworo na de na yeden. Ato ho. But amanfo so eyesa. There are some people who sold land, who sold property to help the needy brethren. But Barnabas maybe did extra ordinary. So his was what? Recorded. But not only him, but there are other people who did that. Antwi, who person can be kakra.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Prayers now, yes,
Okay, last week you didn't know.
last week, you know.
Okay.
Do five body and then. Yeah, or that.
Yes,
sometimes, no, say, we know we are this year. Yeah, I'm to you show at the 1 Corinthians 14:2.
Yeah, I say I can't want my church remove her on the other video, no? On 1 Corinthians 14 verse 2, but you can bring it out.
1% show no. Yeah, we know we are this year.
Almost cancer. And he, yes, and when him, young fast our question and corner addresses our question. No, when you winner. Now you call the end now you addresses our question or 1 Corinthians chapter 2 14 verse 2. He that speaketh in a tongue speaketh not unto man but unto God. Very sure. But you say you meet it time be our hakakra was this lesson. So Barnabas he sold his land. So this is the giving of the New Testament. Obi the catcher Barnabas on cotton assassin. Did someone tell Barnabas to bring 1/10 of what he sold? Okay. So in the New Testament giving, you are not under obligation to give a specific amount. But the Bible encourages you to give more of whatever you want. You have. The Bible said, "Wa apanfo fro ni mu no." Nyankopon pese yema ni bibia. O say enye ohye. Now so at the same time the Nyankopon too for say, "Oh ma adena o man a proportion to what God has blessed you for." When they make no. That means say, so we make it $100, sir. Ube to me, amemu $20 and a 30 what? Dollars and a 10 what? Dollars and a $25. $100 now then. We make it. It's not specific. To say the Old Testament now, and say we make it tight. And then 1/10 of the priest, another tithe for the worship, another tithe for the Levite family, no. We don't have that. Will you pass up?
Me percent, share the difference between 1 Corinthians chapter 16 and this place. Say, I didn't say
Yeah, about 1 Corinthians 16.
And 2 Corinthians 8.
Yeah, about about 1 Corinthians 16. Yeah, about 1 Corinthians 8. Yeah, but church you might be now, yeah, the account. And whatever we read there, no, yeah, but 20. Where Hano Bible say, there. Yeah, man. Now, in the New Testament, you know, we are to give. But how are we to what? To give. How are we to give? Yeah, man is saying. Now, how are we to give? And it's the question we want to address. And the question we want to address, we will go to 1 Corinthians chapter 16. Okay? We want to address that question of how we are supposed to give. And we want to answer some of the argument presented in 1 Corinthians chapter 16. And let's turn our Bible to 1 Corinthians chapter 16 from verse 1 to verse 6. We are saying in Acts chapter 4, we are dealing with giving. And that's why we are going to 1 Corinthians chapter 16. And we want to look at verse 1 to verse 6. And then we want to address the issue over there. Sana Ebimo Patra said, oh, it's not a command. Okay, it's not a command. But we want to prove that it's a command.
16.
Verse 1 to verse 2.
1 Corinthians 16, verse 1 and 2. Now, concerning the collection for the saints, as I have given orders to the churches of Galatia, so you must do also. On the first day of the week, let each one of you lay something aside, storing up as he may prosper, and that there be no collection when I come.
Thank you. So, this is what Paul told the Corinthians church. That concerning the collection for the saints, as I've given order to the churches of Galatia, so you must also do. That upon the first day of the week, whatever you have planned to give God throughout the week, you should give it. Okay? Now, a lot of argument, even among the brethren, has come up because some are saying that, one, we should be giving, the collection should be given every time the church will meet. And people say collection, no, Bibia and Chira will have said, and say, Yama collection on what? On Sunday, like I say, Yeshia Monday, you to make your collection, Yeshia Tuesday, you to make it then, and Yeshia Thursday, you to make your collection. A big argument, no, more no. This is the argument from some brethren and some other people that here does not say that we shouldn't give every day we meet. That is some of the argument they are making. The other argument they presented here is that this is not a command. That is the next argument. That this is not a command, and that because this is the argument they presented. Paul was instructing the Corinthians to collect the money because the brethren in Judea, in Jerusalem, no, there has been famine. Exactly. There has been no rain for a period of what? Of time, and food shortage has come, and therefore the brethren must make correction and send it to the brethren in what? In Jerusalem. And the brethren are making argument that it was a special collection, and therefore it's not a biblical example, and it is not what? A command. Argument making. You look at both what? Ways. Well, so we want to answer all this thing. First of all, well, Acts chapter 4, we have seen that it was a free will what? Giving. Barnabas sold his land. He went to the apostles and what? And gave it to them. Other brethren also did the same what? Now, for the brethren who made such argument, I'll give them a challenge in the Bible. Challenge our Bible. Because Bible no, most of the things we are using as an example are issues that what came what up, and Paul have to ask Jesus Christ, what must I deal with this what issue? And then Jesus have to give Paul what answer, and then he goes to the church and what and tell them. The part when they said, you are no more making that argument of 1 Corinthians chapter 16 verse 1 to 2. The part when say, as a finisher as you know, issues be in the head a womb. Inti asam no toa na Paul abisa Yesu den Christo. Na Yesu Christo akantra Paul say, asam we aye no kwakantra asafo ne say, omunya ne say ne den ne say. No, so I can't read them asafo no. Inti, watch 1 Corinthians chapter 14 now. Paul say, Munka who said, the things I'm writing to you are the commandments of who? Of the word? Of the Lord. I did not make Shramono. Munka who said, Nyama Green Amedia Day. Now, Yankopon, they are the commandments of what? Of the Lord. So because of that, I want to learn this challenge to the brethren who think 1 Corinthians chapter what? 16 verse 1 to 2 no, is not a command. And I'm saying it is what? It is a command, and it's a biblical example that we should what? Follow. Now, you look at the style of Paul writing. Paul, now some sound or throne there. The letters, no. You study somebody and you look at the style of the person writing. Whenever there is trouble and Paul want to answer it, he use concerning. Or you see the word concerning what? This. Concerning what? That. Enti mebeto mo adwen kakra akọ bibia Paul eyusu. Those words no concerning. Concerning the efforts I do we hono, the efforts I do we hono, the efforts I do we hono. Ne ya hwe se hono eye commander, and the hono nye den enye command. Say yet hoas ne say Paul's style of writing, whenever he uses concerning means a command in some other places, then we have to understand that 1 Corinthians 2 using the same word concerning will be what? A command. Momienko 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 1. What will be your honor?
1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 1. Now concerning the things of which you wrote to me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
Okay. This is Paul writing. Or say, now concerning the things you wrote to me, or you see the word that then concerning. I didn't know what you found me. I found it a warrior seminal. Me babe eden. Me babe church mu eden. Dear Paul ever travel hono a command and a command. Yes, who are we know? Is it a command or not command?
Command.
It's a command. Into your honor, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, or church which say is what? It's a command. And you're not doing all the other. So we have seen one style of Paul writing. Two. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1. Read there also for us.
1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1.
Yes.
Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I do not want
now
to be
concerning spiritual what?
gifts.
Gift. The motura family no concerning that. Is it a command? Are they all concerning spiritual gift? Is it biblical teaching? Is it a command or is not a command?
They are all instructions. It's command.
They are all what?
Instructions.
Instructions. And they are what?
Commands.
Command. Idea is you perceive you raise the bar a little bit high. So when you go to personal work, you face issues. Into Yama, another example. Let's take our third example. 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1.
First Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, concerning things offered to others.
Now concerning things offered to others. So here, so you see he's dealing with things offered to what?
Others.
He's dealing with things concerning what? Marriage. He's dealing with things concerning spiritual what?
Gifts.
And then he come to 1 Corinthians chapter what? 16. He said, now concerning the collection for the saint, a command and a command.
So
it's a command and it's an instruction for the church to obey.
Yeah.
Okay, so you better so my own say you are moving me more so will you now come out so
okay. First Corinthians chapter 16 verse number 2 no on my specific day there
yeah but day no because I'm going to learn the day no argument you know.
Okay.
Yeah I'm kind yeah but day no yes you around the first speaker no now online to me at
But okay, maybe I can now quote verse 2, and maybe I'll get good understanding there. But I have a second verse 2 now. Us in there.
Okay, so we are coming to the verse 2, but we want to find out the first argument presented. Say, I didn't or share say asafoninya na enye den enye or share. And you will say a commandment of the Lord. So the fact say they are taking the thing to go and give to the brethren in what? In Judea, no. And no interest no. Everything must be organized and everything must be according to the law of what? Of God. Etina all back can say some we are made the Mammo Corinthians for no. May the Sam Rano Sama Hanamo Galatia then. The law I'm giving to you, the Corinthians, how you should do your contribution. I'm giving the same law to those raging in where? In Galatia. So what is happening here? Is there any pattern coming here? Pattern be a head. It should be a head. Bana should be there is what? A pattern. Me can say pattern, about you say. Se see a yeshi ahano. You be a worshiper, you be take the Lord's what? Omo want silver spirit in the bed. Omo want boo in the bed. Omo want Lola in the bed. Is there any pattern? Yeah, there is a pattern. The year you have anyone almost somewhere there. Ain't he? And just say, ye dim rabako then. So here, Paul is making it very clear that this law, this rule of giving, I've given it to the churches in where? In Galilee, Galatia is a region. Cassia. They say Western region, Ashanti region. So there are different kinds of what? Churches there, but they are all the same one church. And he said, the law I'm giving you here, I'm giving it to the church of God. So we have established the fact that this is a commandment of the Lord. Yes, many are now person okay, sir.
I'm saying, if you will be out, you have been here concern now. Before, there's some more problem. More problem, just say, more good, your year, the Bassabas, if you more quite a crumb of us, to almost be someone, almost show that a come up. The poor be your man, whom if father, Mokan, another father is say now.
Okay, thank you for your contribution. So that is exactly the same thing. You have to person
and one about when we are talking about concern and relate, these are verbs. So Paul's statement now, okay, concern what? What is he trying to relate to? Is it those texts in the Old Testament?
No, you have to read what we read.
Yes, what we read.
What we read, one was concerning spiritual what? Gift. And we asked, was it a commandment? And we say, yeah, it was a commandment.
We agree that all those ones are commandments.
Okay, and the other one was concerning food offered to what?
I agree.
Okay, and here is also concerning the collection for the saints. You understand? And we say that is also what? A commandment.
We agree that it's commandment.
Yes.
So what, or relating it to what? What is concerning what? Concerning something
that means they have written Paul a letter. The Corinthians have written Paul a letter concerning issues going on in the what? In the church. And they need an answer from the inspired man. And he was answering the issues concerning spiritual gift, concerning marriage, and concerning giving. So we are on giving now. Well, okay, is that clear?
Okay, so the Corinthians had issue with giving.
They are everything.
Let's look at it. They have issues with collection. They have issues with how to
adult worship.
So what brought about those issues?
Pardon?
Those issues.
It's like you are
issues that were facing in the Old Testament.
It's like you are a new convert and you are learning. So you need to ask some question and then your preacher will give you what? Answer. And they say, I feel the about Christ, you wouldn't even then be into I said, we saw preacher and then as I'm saying, preacher, you're about church and we say correction now more than loss of an more yellow. Pastor, what church into preacher and never know I no a church room. It is an apostle. So Paul and the established Corinth church, and some PI then Abim, Ebine giving, Ebine Adiane Ediama Bosom, Ebine spiritual what gift. Enti Omwa drop Paul says I never winner, Yapa Umua, I was asking there. So,
Sir, Corinthians are sorry. Almost like you see, like presently. People are discussing issues about a tithing, and a collection. Okay, so they also had such issues. It is almost resist such issues. No matter Paula, issues in the fear. That's how I'm looking at it. So when those issues about adults adult sacrifice, there were Old Testament. You see, so they had it. So if they are raising that issue to Paul is also trying to address that issue you guys raised with regards to this.
Exactly. This is what it is. The point that so that's what we are trying to say. Say in 1 Corinthians 16, there is an issue on the collection.
Exactly.
And Paul have to give them the right way to what to do it. Yes, brother Williams.
Yeah, I'm saying last no can be quite said Tama Paul established tests in Inano. Now, this Bible itself, now you compile the Bible in the one. So, the okay, Colossians chapter 4, verse 16 now. Or say the moment a trauma on the Muslim Fakumon language here for now almost ready. Now the language here for the mom almost ready. But I said, what established church in there? But I find now, open church, And no a government teacher.
Exactly.
Until I say, what exercise you need.
Exactly. Thank you for your contribution. So he has to address those what issues. So 1 Corinthians chapter 16 verse 1 is a command. It was 2. It was given to the churches in what? In Galatia. And he's giving the same instruction to the churches in Corinth. So he's going to give the same instruction to the church in what? Ephesus. And he's going to give the same instruction to the church in Colossia. So it's a pattern. Okay, so the brethren who are teaching us, they want to bring an argument that because he's sending to the church, the brethren in Judea, is just one-time correction. No, this is biblical example that the Bible has given. Now let's go to the verse 2, the day that we are to give the correction.
Verse 2, 1 Corinthians 16. On the first day of the week, let each one of you lay something aside,
Okay.
storing up as he may prosper, that there be no collection when I come.
Okay, so Paul made it very clear. The church, first of all, the church gathers on the first day of the what? Of the week. As I follow Yeshua on the first day of what? Of the week. In the New Testament time, the gathering time for the church is the first day of what? Of the week. On the first day of the week, we gather to do the Lord's what? Supper. And Paul said we should do our contribution on the first day of what? Of the week. Now, so there are brethren saying, oh, okay, first day of the week. What about if we meet Monday? What about if we meet Tuesday? What about if we meet Thursday? What about if we meet Friday? Well, Paul said, whatever you have proposed throughout the week, okay, you can gather it all together and give it on the first day of what? Of the week. It's an instruction. Now, we have 7 days in a what? In a week. But Paul didn't say give it on Monday. He didn't say give it on what? He didn't say give it on what? But he took one of the day, and that particular day is the gathering day of the what? Is the day the church meet to do worship, and then is the day the church do the Lord's what? Supper. So there is implication that it is the first day of what? Of the week. So we have a biblical example here. Now, if you say, well, I want to give it on Tuesday or Wednesday, give us one biblical example. For example, Bako Emaya, Asafuna Paul, Ebimo Emma give on the when they gather on the first day of the week, Omoma correction on Tuesday, no. We said in Acts chapter 4 that there is a free will giving. Then you are going to sow your land and you brought it to the church. It doesn't have any specific day. It can be Monday, Tuesday. If I sell my car and I give the money, I want to give it to the church. I can meet the church leaders on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday and give it to what? So that is exclusive. Then we have the giving when we meet as what? As a church. And Paul is addressing that when we meet and everything, we have to give on the first day of what? Of the week. This is what the Bible is saying. Now, okay, Randa, you want to ask a question?
Into my question, verse 2 because the purpose of this 1 Corinthians 16 was to address Etiana, like the famine in Jerusalem, right? And you know to what God is doing into what that and now verse 2 not in there. Laid by him in store. In store, is this not referring to the storage of food in your in the storehouse? that individual might store in their homes and be them?
Well, it's a collection of the saints. Okay, so if we are going to give something to the Silver Spring Church, maybe I'll give money. Maybe you say, well, I don't have money. I have one bag of what? Rice. You want to give. Somebody has other things you want to give. Maybe somebody doesn't have money. He will go and sell his car and give. So that is the giving. Okay. Now, on the first, he said, within the week, whatever God has what? Read it very well.
Well, God has prospered.
Also, whatever God has prospered what? You. So you are giving proportionally to whatever God has what? Given you. So you made $500 within the week. Someone made $100 within the what? The week. So the one who made 100 maybe want to give 50. The one who made 1,000 want to give maybe 100. So all this thing you plan is purposely given. That means you have planned it not on the day of Sunday.
Yes.
But you have already what? Planned. And then you gather all and bring it on the first day of the what? Of the week. Okay? So that is the point we are trying to bring.
March is the first day of the week now.
Okay.
Now, my concern was verse 2 now. On the main purpose now is to gather. It can be money, it can be food items, whatever, for the brothers in Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. Because of famine. That was the purpose of this letter.
Exactly.
Okay, remember. Now, Sir on the people are engaged in farming. Okay, so in the week, whatever has prospered you. So we find that we could carry probably 2 bags. Okay, let me for 1 bag you can come out in the now. God has blessed you with that.
Yeah, so it's a collection.
Yeah, so whatever, it can be money, it can be in dry, it can be anything. So the argument on who raised there on your in share, on your, they might have a reason because of this particular in-store.
Okay. I will explain that. Medium will explain it that.
I'm saying, Yemia no asema or cano. A hono and the person say, Bia, a mianing point. So, we say, on my reference, people Acts chapter 4, so Bekaya, Tamayasha, or can I say, Acts chapter 4, no, a bilumu, Omina, or Abimba, 32, no. Oma Ubia, who entering the church itself. Look at it now, the order time. Ubia, who antino. So, and now, or jump on any bar as 1 Corinthians 16. Our address is given first day of the week. And to send your walk or see proportion. So, our proportion I bet share hono. A be a wood year way a farmer. Unya bibi. A be a way a carpenter. Unya bibi. A be a way a mason. Unya bibi. Out of that, and also factor. Now, power then. Odiaba. So, and to maybe we say, I have no more can say, and yet, yes, I agree, said no, but yes, we in a sort of so
that is it. So the whole thing install, they say, Monday, no, the unya no put it in what? Install. Tuesday, the unya no, then put it in what? Wednesday, the unya no put it in what? Friday, the unya no put it in what? Saturday, the unya no put it in what? After Sunday, no, there was still in the fire then. February. Okay? February.
Sir, I'll get back to you on
yes, yeah, let's get this very well. So it is on the first day of the what? Of the week that we do what? This. Now, it's a yemia entry.
Put aside.
Yes.
Put aside till put the store on the translation.
Yeah, but this is King James version.
Yeah, put aside or put in store. Ni nyina e baako. The when you no fair then. First on the first day of the week in February. Okay.
Okay, so in this case,
Maybe more new na use to speaker no. What person will be sir?
Okay, in this case, can I say that me a farmer, okay, make you bro, because based on this, that is what God has proposed me, okay. Maybe 1 bag of a bro, as collection.
Yes.
Is that allowed in our current situation?
Yeah, it's allowed. So Sunday be our personal contribution, only 1 bag of rice. Ebra Safona. When you had the fabric, because I 1 bag of rice, ebu high cotton, $30 and $40 Yeah, when you are no they might need that 1 bag of what? Rice, And what the bar one very big better. Yes,
I'm saying the refugee baby a car first ask for no. Also, no, it's kind of back. So, one castle as a go far, but I'll go to so celebrate me, I will be a benefit.
Because our means of distribution right now is money.
It's money.
So me Peter said, Barnabas, Ekoton assassino. He could have said, okay, church, me want 5 acres of what?
Land.
But Okoton assassin discarding in a bed. I don't know Oyen was coming. Okay, Mammy Mr. Bush, I don't know Oyen was coming. Because the means of distribution through money, are very what? Fast. When the metro is very fast when it becomes what? Money. Into the Barnabas, Ekoton assassin or the bride. Because so almost I can see Canada and they accommodate no way to me the idea. The only person with this tent be man, no baby dano. Only to me, I go high Obiama wire there. Tent no one to yard there. So it's a means of moving very fast. Well, but one penny Sunday every Sunday be up as all day 10 bags of rice. A bar. What the bar as a phone so bad then. A becky, 10 bags and I said, those one. Me and no more motor or mono this time no mean cocos could be. What the bar no matter, I'm the Sicana then. I'm a safono. So there means they can work out when they're better no.
Okay.
And then one thing you have to know, say, the olden times, who took a pano, and yet easy. The roads are not what. It say, over 50 bags of rice. Now they are good upon call then. So now what they sell 50 bags and take 100 to 200 miles, I then I won't control 50 then. Now on first can in then. Now we do Jerusalem and now we this Ghana then. I'm an apostles no. So apostles no person almost the two more almost the bed then. About more. Some person almost this sit down and be with them almost the bed then. So there is a reason Paul through the Spirit concerning the correction for the saint because a question I had then Abba and he is addressing that question. And before he addressed that question, he made sure that what one church is doing is not different from what the other church is doing. Therefore, it is a pattern. And since it's a pattern, we are 2,000 years from that pattern. And therefore, we are following what Paul and the rest did. And then we made a point to say, there are 7 days in a week. Paul chose Sunday. There is a reason for choosing what? Sunday. He didn't choose Monday. He didn't choose Tuesday. Because Sunday is the day the brethren gather to worship what? God. And it's a pattern in the olden time. The Jews, when they are doing the offering, the widow's mite, when they gather on the Sabbath, they do what? Contribution. Because it's the day they want. They gather. In the New Testament, when we gather, we do contribution. Okay? Now, I know maybe all of you might have a lot of questions. They say our time is up.
Oh.
Well, let's give 2 more minutes. You can ask your question.
My question there, Church of Christ, when we come to tithing, most of the times I can a journey, but what called other denominational churches now, what can in our present age, because most of us are not farmers and those kind of that argument, that is why they tell them to convert or sell whatever product that they have into money and then present like that. Though but that is argument.
But remember that the thing is not there for the first instant. And two, the Jews have two things. They have offering, which is money, and they have what? Tithe. That's what the Jews have. They have offering, which is what? Money. And that is what the widow gave in. The widow might, That is money the widow what? Gave. But they have tithe also, which is not what? Money. So if you want to talk about tithe in the Old Testament, they don't give what? Money. Now, in Deuteronomy chapter 14, you realize that if the tithe turns into money, it's no longer what? Tithe. Don't go and give it. No. God said, don't give it. We will continue on God's willing next week. But you missed your question.
Yes, I think that we are just missing apples and oranges.
Okay.
Because we can't relate what Paul did to our normal corrections here on Sundays. Because let's create a scenario. Let's look at Paul's issue. Paul was traveling from one place to the other or visiting the various churches. So he tells the church in Corinth, look, from Sunday to the following Sunday, gather all whatever money Kwesimensa has, Inkum has, put it together. Sunday, when I come, I will take it and go and give it to our people who are suffering in, say, New York. Okay? So, a idea happened at that time, and our Kachin conference said they should be getting the money. So, why are we relating it to our every Sunday correction here?
Okay, but I don't know, Kachin Galicia for also someone, yes, sir.
Of course, so no go around.
Yeah, but remember that he's establishing a pattern. Already, I quoted you 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1, also concerning marriage. And in marriage, you see what 2,000 years now, Paul addressing, from your argument, and you assembly and see what and yes, you follow the Paul addressing. Because and yes, you follow the Paul address here. 1 Corinthians 7, or say, I want to ask my one answer now, what your mom, and one son, I may make an from your argument, there, but you say, some now Paul Tro, because I according to flower, the answer, and fire then, yeah, thank you. It is a fire, who dear, till, a fire, who dear. And the connection now as some see what hono no so no and also father and also fire because inspire writer and actual and the also fire we will address that your time is what is up Yakupon next week. Hey Yakupon Ashra amen.
It'd be like that. But in terms of my job, I actually got all back. Nothing much. So I went on. Yeah, but you don't use this kind of job. And you guys near a hardware store. We do. And you guys keep.
The graduate.
It would have been such a good job there. I already tried. That's why I was just tired. So they were